and voices to follow. But too many choices can also become a prison. When every option is created, filtered, and sold by the same few powerful forces, are we really choosing? Or are we just picking the illusion that makes us feel in control? This is what some thinkers call self-control. It doesn't tell you what to do. It simply shapes what you want to do. It doesn't ban your speech. It makes you speak in ways that fit the system. It doesn't take your freedom. It convinces you that you've already got it, so you never question it. And that's the trick of modern democracy. It doesn't need to silence people. It just needs to keep them entertained, distracted, and divide. You can argue online, vote every few years, and feel like you've done your part. But the real decisions, the ones that shape your life, your country, and your future, are made far above you. Be people you'll never meet. The scariest part. Most of us don't even notice. Because this system doesn't control through fear anymore. It controls through comfort. It gives you just enough freedom to feel safe, but not enough to change anything real. It gives you entertainment, convenience, and a sense of belonging. So you will never want to leave the system that quietly owns you. True freedom isn't about how many choices you have. It's about whether those choices are real, whether you can choose something different. It's about being able to think, act, and speak without invisible pressure guiding you. And right now, that kind of freedom is getting harder to find. So if freedom once meant breaking chains, what do we need to break today? Maybe it's not the government or the law holding us back. Maybe it's the quiet power of control built into our screens, our systems, and even our thoughts. Stay with me because in the next part we'll uncover how freedom of choice, the idea that defines modern democracy, ISNTS, free as it seems. You'll see how almost every choice you make, from politics to the products you buy, is part of a carefully designed illusion. Ready to look behind the curtain? Let's talk about the illusion of choice. They say we live in the age of choice. Everywhere you look, there's 1,000 options, 100 brands of cereal, countless TV channels, millions of products online, 2 political parties, endless job titles. You can pick what to watch, where to live, what to